Hey guys, I'm here today to do my January wrap-up. I read 6 books in January, which is okay. I'm just accepting the fact that whatever I read in the month is whatever I read. And I'm actually going to do a favorites video of the month every month as well, so I can show you guys what I'm liking besides reading, so you can see what I do with the rest of my spare time. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to jump into the books I read in January. So first I read The Game of Lives by James Dashner. This is the 3rd book in the Mortality Doctrine series, and it was okay. It was not my favorite. It was probably like, the worst book of the series. I really am obsessed with the first book, which is like a virtual reality story where the main character and his 2 best friends get sucked into this virtual reality world and have to fight their way to, fight the bad guy through like a series of different video games. The second one is just them in the real world then trying to find the bad guy, and finally in this book is them again just trying to defeat the bad guy in the real world and a mix of the video game in there. It was okay. It was just the first one was so good with it being like in the video game and all the video game type things that when it got into the real world I didn't like it as much, because virtual reality stories are supposed to be in virtual reality, not real life. So it was okay. It was a good conclusion. I gave it like a 3.5. I would probably read this series again. It's not the greatest series I've ever read, but it's entertaining. And on audiobook, I listened to Winter by Marissa Meyer. This is the 4th book in the Lunar Chronicles series, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's my favorite so far out of the series besides Ferris. I really liked Ferris, the Lavana story. So Winter was really good. We just meet the character Winter and just goes from there with all of Cinder and her friends. I can't really describe it so you don't get, ruined with the plot of Cinder and all the other books that came before it, but it's just a happy conclusion story. I did think it was a little too cheesy of a happy ending. Everything just kind of fell into place super well, but it is a retelling of fairy tales and like, Cinderella and Rapunzel. Of course it's gonna have happy endings, like it kind of has to. It is a fairy tale retelling and they always are kind of happy, so it's pretty good. I still need to read these short stories, and she has a new novella coming out in Aiko's point of view called Wires and Nerves, I believe. I'll write down what it's called if that was not right, but I'm excited for that because over the book I've really grown to like Aiko a lot. I didn't like her at all in Cinder, but I didn't really like the first book at all in the series, and I just made myself keep going, which I'm really glad I did because I actually really enjoyed the series a lot and I would probably purchase it. Next I read Bright Smoke and Cold Fire by Rosamund Hodge. This is the author of Cruel Beauty, which I love Cruel Beauty, so I just wanted to pick up more of her books because, if you love one book by an author, you kind of get obsessed with all their other books. So this is like a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, which is like really unique. The thing is, I've never read normal Romeo and Juliet, but I know the basic plot because I think everyone knows the basic plot if you are in, I don't know, just if you watch TV or have been in school and read things. A lot of things are adapted from Shakespeare classics. So when I was reading, I was like, oh, okay, I know these characters and I know these things happen, but I've never actually picked up Romeo and Juliet and read it, so I'm sure I was missing a few key points of understanding the story. But this retelling is about a town where everyone is dying around them, but this one town everyone has been safe and no one's dying in it. So it's about Romeo and Juliet. At first they kind of run away. Paris is supposed to protect Juliet, and Juliet runs away in the night with Romeo and she is killed, and so everyone believes Romeo kills her, and Romeo and Paris kind of get this bond where they can read each other's minds, and the same thing happens to Juliet. She's brought back from the dead by a necromancer, and she can read Juliet's mind and control her. So the 2 girls together and the 2 guys together, and they're just trying to get back to each other. A lot of supernaturally things going on, or fantasy elements of it. And I mean, I just really liked it. I thought it was super good. I think it's going to be a series, which I mean, it did just end without any conclusion, so I will pick up the next one. It's not like it was amazing, but it's not as good as Cruel Beauty or anything because I love Cruel Beauty. but I still really liked it and I was intrigued the whole story. Then I picked up Kalala Princess number 3. The series is about a girl named Kalala who finds this beautiful prince from a faraway town and their adventures of getting all these different crystals for this tiara, and they go through different worlds of Disney princesses. So this one, she's in the world of Cinderella and meets Cinderella and the evil stepsisters and just is on the hunt for another crystal to help the handsome Prince Rai save his kingdom, and it's just super cutesy. It's nothing special, but I just love like Disney princesses and like anime and manga, and it's just so cute. So it is a very like young series. I think if I was like 12 and read this, I would have like absolutely adored it. But being older, it's just like the girl is just so, Kalala is just so like dependent on Rai and just very love struck already when she like just met him. So it's very like, oh my god, I love you and I miss you and blah blah, and it's like you've known this guy for 2 days, you know. So it is very young, but I still think it's super cute and I can't wait to read the 4th one. Then I picked up Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I got this beautiful edition. I believe this was in the November Owl Crate box. I think it was. And it's just so cute and I love it so much. It's like it was designed by Risa Rodell, and there's all her like info, but I just think it's so cute, and I've never actually read Alice in Wonderland again. It's again one of those stories that you know absolutely everything about because it's like in different TV shows and movies, and you know you've seen so many adaptations in your life. I actually never sat down and read it, so I read it and I think it was actually really cute. I liked it. I mean, I think the only reason I could follow it so well is because I know so much of the story, and you know, you've seen the movies growing up and all that stuff. So it is very quirky and weird, but I liked the sense of humor at the same time. Everybody was so like rude to each other and I thought it was super funny. And Alice would just get like so annoyed and then they'd get annoyed with Alice, and I don't know, I just thought it was super funny. And I mean, it was such a quick read. It was barely over 100 pages. So I flew through it and I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to just display this on my shelf because it's so beautiful. And finally in January I picked up Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by Rachel Cohen and David Levithan. And I know I've read this before when I was, I don't even know, probably in high school, middle school or high school, and I didn't remember it at all though, so I picked it back up and I love the first like 100 pages of it. It was kind of like it's not really like a book of dares, it was kind of just like they would leave each other messages in a book and leave them at different places, and then those people would have to do, I mean, it would be like, in the book it would be like, oh, go and see Santa to get the next clue, and then go and do this to get the next clue. And so it was a really cute like clue mystery novel of them trying to figure out who each other was. Second half I just didn't really enjoy as much. It just dragged on too long for them not meeting, and then when they finally met, it was too instantly like they loved each other and all this stuff, and it's like this took over the course of like 10 days, and I'm like, yeah, just because you wrote to each other your like deepest thoughts and like all that, you still don't know a person, and you can't fall in love with a person and know everything about them and just your whole world is about them in 10 days. Like, I just don't think that's realistic for me. Even hanging out with the person. So like they only really knew each other the last few days of this like 10-day thing. So, I don't know. It was okay. I liked it. I guess I'd give it like a 3.5. I thought I was going to give it like a 5 at first because I absolutely just love the interactions and like the quirkiness of it. And then it just got old really fast. So yeah, I'd give it probably like a 3.5. But, and I feel like I would reread it again. It was like a Christmas time story. It took place from December 23rd through like December or January 1st. So I probably would read it again, but closer to like Christmas time. Yeah guys, those are the books I picked up in January. What are some books you've read recently? Let me know below, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys!